as I unravel my hair, let's unravel some thoughts. I am taking my hair out. So this is a very transparent moment. This should really enlighten you to understand that, hey, you don't have to wait until the perfect scenario to set your phone up and start a video. When I first started my YouTube, I had this mindset of oh, it has to be perfect before I jump into the conversation, before I even start my purpose. No, sometimes you have to start right where you are. And I feel like this is a very vulnerable moment that I should take advantage of. I'm in the car right now, okay? In a parking garage. Don't let nothing stop you, okay? But like I said, I'm taking my hair out, so I'm not going to look perfect, and that's not the goal here. The goal is to encourage women to heal. It is so important that women heal, because I think oftentimes women get stuck. And when you get stuck in comfortability, when you get stuck in familiarity, when you get stuck in that version that you were when you were 16, or that version you were when you were last hurt, or that version you were when you didn't want to open up yourself to vulnerability because you felt as though vulnerability was a weapon. You felt that expressing yourself was a weapon. That's where you stay stuck. Or you stay stuck the last time you got physically or mentally abused. I'm not minimizing that, but it's so important for you to not stay stuck at the last time you got hurt. Because at the same time, I think a lot of women, they really just truly don't understand the power that they have. And a lot of times, not even a lot of times, women set the tone. Whether we want to realize that or not, you have to get to a certain point within maturity that you realize that you actually set the tone. Whether you set the tone for being a good mother for your children, whether you set the tone for actually showing up as a better person for yourself so that you can move in your purpose, whether you set the tone in your relationship to show your partner what it's like to be with a woman who actively loves themselves so much that they are able to pour into their partner in a healthy manner, or even if it goes to the aspect of doing those habits to become a healthier woman so that your friends can know what it looks like to have a real friend that does not coddle them in their bad decisions, but tells them the real, that shows them the real, that shows what it's like to actually be a woman that is moving in a way to want better for herself. Or even when it comes to strangers. And I think we don't realize that so much, because a lot of times, not even just with women, but people have this mindset of me, 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 me. Even if I'm healing, I'm doing it for just me. You have to get to a point within your maturity where you realize that your life is not even about you. When you realize that your life is not even about you, you will understand that there's an assignment. There's a responsibility that comes with healing. There's a responsibility that comes with growth. And a lot of people may not be at that point in life right now, and I'm not judging. But it's when you're not at that point in life, you're moved through life so selfishly. So that's why I think a lot of times you may have women or people, definitely I'm referring to women. So that's why a lot of times you have women that stay stuck at the last time that they got hurt, because they don't understand the responsibility of actually healing. Okay, you have kids now. You can't keep operating with that same mindset. You can't keep having those same bad habits, because your children are watching you. You have children in young developmental stages whose personalities are developing. They're seeing mom still do those same things that's keeping her cradle. They're seeing mom develop these bad habits. So they think, oh, this is what I should do when I grow up. And lo and behold, some children actually say, you know what, they call out the dysfunction and they actually want to be better. But why can't we set the tone? Why can't we move better today? And why is healing seemed as corny? Why is healing seem as corny when it's needed? And I'm going to be the one to say it, because I think a lot of times people think that healing is corny, or people who talk about actually having steps closer towards healing. It's not, because it's not a comfortable conversation. It's not a comfortable feeling, and it's not an aesthetic. And I think even too with growing as a woman, I realized that, hey, I don't have to fit in the aesthetic of what other people want to perceive me as. I also don't have to be the person who my mom wanted me to be, because that person may not be who God has called me to be. I don't have to be that person that, you get what I'm saying? I don't have to be who the world perceives me as if I know who God has called me to be. And that's the importance of it. I need more women to understand who God has called them to be and be yearning for that relationship, because you can pick up so many personalities from the world, and it does not matter how many personalities you pick up from the world. If that personality is not rooted in Christ, it's false. And if you don't have nobody around you to tell you that, what are we actually doing? I think a lot of times too with women, a lot of times women are hanging around other women who they feel familiar. They make you feel comfortable, but not safe. Well, I'll say this. They make you feel so comfortable to the point to where you think it's safe, because you're scared of change. You're just scared of growth. You're scared of having friends that tell you the real or call you out when you're wrong, or they don't agree with your every wrong decision. They tell you things to actually implement better habits and better decisions. You're not, a lot of women, they're not ready for that. They say they want real friends. But you still hang around coddlers. You still hang around people, oh, just because she's familiar, we share the same bad habits. We share the same sins, so we're good friends. Nah, that's not real friendship. You need friends that tell you the real. You need friends that encourage you to be better. Like, nah, friend, you better than that. And not take it as, oh, she's secretly hating on me, or that's jealous. Nah, y'all don't know what real is. And we have to we have to have those conversations, even too, like I said as well, it's like, you got to understand, it's so vital and important for a woman to understand who God has called her to be, because she will understand that healing is a priority. It's not a choice. When you understand who God has called you to be, you realize that healing is a priority. It's not a choice. Because if I actually heal, even if it is scary, right? Even if it does bring out a different version of myself, I accept that. I embrace my vulnerability. I understand that vulnerability is not a weapon, but it is a tool. It's a stepping tool to help me become a better person, and not just for myself. Oh, I want to be a good woman. We think being a good woman stops at you having a perfect body shape, or you having a perfect long curly hair, or you just being so aesthetically pleasing. That does not matter if you are not in alignment with the purpose that God has over your life. It does not matter. And this is what sometimes, a lot of times, women get so caught up in looks. I want to be the prettiest in the room. I want to be the prettiest in the room. And then too, false confidence. Confidence, whereas it's like, I only feel better about myself if I feel like there's something better in me than you. That's false confidence. Why do we have to compare ourselves to other women? Why do we have to compare ourselves? You know your value, you would not have to diminish yourself to another woman's worth or value. And I think, like, one of the biggest things here, I don't want you to take this as a threat, because I'm just holding us accountable. It is so vital that we take those steps of healing, like choosing any day, hey, you know what? I'm going to actually be better. I don't care if everybody around me is stuck in their ways. I'm going to be the one to be different. I'm going to be the one to call out dysfunction. I'm going to be the one to be a better person, not even just for myself, because for my kids are watching me. My kids are watching me go back to the same man that I said that I wanted to be done with. So now when they grow up, they start thinking that that's what love is supposed to be like. Accepting dirty work from people that really don't love you. Devaluing myself just so I can have somebody in my bed at night. It's bigger than that. Loving myself, taking healthier habits so that, hey, when strangers see me, or people that want to be my friends, they see me being a good representation, because I'm a good representation in the world. I show up as a better woman every day. I develop better habits. I don't allow myself to stay stuck in my funk. I express myself. Another thing I would express is that women need to allow themselves to be passionate again. I think a lot of times women have so many things that drives them, or things that they once loved when they were a child or a teenager, that, you know, sometimes life can get so heavy that, you know, we may be tied up in just surviving and focusing on like paying bills, that we don't realize that, hey, there was once upon a time where I was an artist and I love drawing. Why did we stop that? Why did you stop those things that you love because you got in a relationship and that feeling of love felt so good? Why did we put that on pause? We need to get passionate again. And whether that's passionate about your purpose, passionate about hobbies, passionate about loving yourself, passionate about becoming expressive, passionate about doing the things that you once loved, passionate about doing the things that moved you, but that was healthy, passionate about actually developing better habits, passionate about being a good woman every single day. What does being a good woman look like? Being a good woman does not mean, oh, I'm posting lemon drops at 3 o'clock and I'm seeing the best sceneries. Oh, and I bought a Chanel bag. That doesn't matter. You think having a good body and having the most longest, luxurious, curliest hair is more better than being a woman who actively shows up every single day to become better, to develop better habits, to literally train herself to unlearn dysfunction, to educate herself, to go get herself educated, to literally move in a career, stop putting her life on hold for a man that doesn't even like her for real? Stop putting her life on hold for a man. Like, the amount of women that literally put their lives on hold for men who would never do the same for them is absolutely insanity. And I think, like, even too, like, a lot of times women can be so male-centered that they go through life thinking that, hey, I need a man. No, you need to be aligned with your purpose. And I'm not saying like hoe, like, did I just say hoe? I didn't mean to say that. I'm not saying like, oh, a man cannot help benefit your life, or you being with a man or a significant other can help upgrade your life and you guys can grow together and become a powerhouse. I'm not saying that. But we need to encourage women to literally be passionate again about their purpose. What's stopping you from becoming great? We got to figure out those things. Like, what's stopping you from not being the woman that you want to be? Get serious with yourself. And I know this sounds cliche. I don't want this to sound like your typical motivational video, because one of the biggest things I learned, when you allow God to flow through your heart and flow through you, there's a different type of essence that comes from that cannot be faked. No matter how much you say you love yourself, no matter how much you say you're doing the work on yourself, there's a different type of essence that comes with letting God flow through your heart. Because when you let God flow through your heart, it starts flowing through everybody around you. And I think a lot of times women forget their power, so they don't know how heavy and how vital that is, how necessary that is. When you allow God to flow through your heart, God will be able to help you touch others without even laying your hand on them. Because you're using your gifts. A lot of times, women are literally letting their gifts sit in a basement collecting dust. Because you think that, oh, well, maybe if I fill in that void of me being in a relationship, that will blind the fact that I actually need to figure out what my purpose is. Or maybe if I put my aesthetic or who I am all into my children, that would make me forget how loved I wasn't from how much love I didn't receive from my mother and father. They make me feel worthy. And I'm not saying that you can't love your children. I'm not saying that you can't love your man. But women need to understand, before you had children, before you were in a relationship, before you picked up those aesthetics that you learned from the world, there were certain things within you that moved you. Even to think about when you were a little kid, what did you like? A lot of people don't even know who they are without attaching it to anybody else outside of themselves, which is unfortunate. Without attaching it to another person who they love so much in life. And I'm not judging them, but I'm bringing awareness to things that need to be exposed. We have to realize, as a woman, is so much value in moving in purpose and not connecting that to people. Oh, I have value because I'm a mom. Oh, I have value because I'm a wife. Oh, I have value because I'm a good friend. No, you have value because you have purpose. God placed purpose within your body that you may have been detached to because you picked up other aesthetics, or you picked up other worldly things to replace God's love. And I think nothing is more important. I know nothing is more important than being in purpose and alignment with that and actually showing up in that. Because a lot of women, man, I'm telling you, y'all are not tapping in with yourselves. And I see it every day on social media. I see it how women talk. I see it how women are clouding their minds with only being male-centered. I see it how women are literally drowning themselves out with distractions. I see how women are literally placing their goals and their aspirations on the back burner, but they're placing their relationship on the front stand, which is very unfortunate. I see how a lot of women are placing all of their self-worth into their children, but at the same time, you don't know what God has called you to do. You keep jumping from job to job thinking that that's going to fix You keep jumping from job to job thinking that more pay is going to fix a long-term solution. Nah. The solution is getting in alignment with your purpose. If you get in alignment with your purpose, one of the biggest things what I want women to understand, even too with men, this applies to men in this aspect. If you get aligned with your purpose, one of the biggest things you will realize is that it will not matter how much money you're not making when you're first starting out. Because you're fulfilled. You don't have to jump from job to job to get more pay when deep inside you're not passionate. There was a job I was working at. Many people who know me and know of me know that because I vocally expressed that on my platform. There was a job I was working at. I was literally bringing home nearly, I'll say on average, $500 a day. $500 a day. Whenever I really made less than $500 a day, I actually was more depressed. But hold on, stay with me now. I was nearly making $500 a day, but I was completely unhappy. Before the start of my shift, I would sit in the car and pray. A lot of people didn't even know that. God, take me out of this situation. Mind you, I'm making $500 a day. Valentine's Day came up around the time at the job I was at. I was a waitress / you could say bottle girl. I was really a waitress though. Around the time Valentine's Day came up, I made nearly $1,000. I made like $890 something in one day. People don't even make that in 2 weeks. Better yet, a week. And I was still unhappy. I was still going to work so sad, so depressed. You can ask my friends. This is not a lie. But when I found my purpose, God flipped my life around. My perspectives changed. how I view life changed. When I figured out what my purpose was, I started out, a lot of people were telling me, nah, Brie, they ain't paying the bills. You need to go get a job. And I don't blame them, because a lot of people are built upon survival and capitalism, and they're not in purpose. So when you're not in purpose, you think that if it's not paying you a big paycheck, it has no value. Because your mind only moves to the state of money. And when your mind only moves to the state of money, there's something that's blocked off there. And that's true authenticity and freedom. So like I said, when you're moving through purpose, one of the biggest things, I want to let you know something. You don't really care starting off if you don't have all the finances for it, because you're aligned. You feel fulfilled. There's a different type of fulfillment that comes with that. I'm able to let go anything and anyone in my life right now that does not serve me good eventually, right? Because you are not going to miss the assignment that God has me on. And there is a different type of strength. There's a different type of vulnerability that comes with that. There's a different type of fulfillment. I wish women could understand this. When you are in purpose, I know exactly what God is calling me to do. I'm not going to let no outsider stop that. Not a man in a relationship that looks good. I don't care. Not a friendship that I had for a long time. I don't care. Not someone who does not want to see this version of me. I don't care. Not a paycheck that's, oh, I'm not getting paid enough. No, because I understand that there's an assignment that's deeper than money. That's deeper than money. I don't have to jump from job to job. Oh, who's going to pay me more? Oh, I'm at a job that pays me $37 an hour, but I hate it every single day. My creativity is dying. Nothing. There's so much more to life. There's so much more to life. And I wish women understood that. There's so much more to life than just money. Money is important, but it's not everything. Because being in purpose, understanding why you wake up every day, there's a different type of responsibility that comes with your life. But you know what, though? A lot of women would rather run than face that. Hey, I'm at a job where I'm unhappy. I know for sure I'm bigger than this. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do out of survival, but you don't stay stuck there. You have to believe that there is more. I also encourage women too to get hope. Have faith. Have faith. I can do all things within Christ which strengthens me. I carry that on my back like armor. Have faith. You don't have to stay stuck in your trauma. You don't have to stay stuck in your dysfunction. You don't have to stay stuck in that domestic violence relationship. There's more. There's a man out there waiting to love you. You don't have to stay small because you feel as though you may have a lot of kids, or you may not have made great decisions with your partners. You don't have to stay stuck feeling like there's not a man that wants you. There's a man that will love every single thing about you and your children. You don't have to stay stuck because, oh, I'm living in my hometown and I feel like there's no way out. No, there is a way out. Women need to have hope. You need people around you that strengthen that. If you don't have nobody in your circle that's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, you need friends, you need partners, you need relationships and community. Scratch that. The word is community. You need community that reminds you, hey, friend, you remember you said you was going to start that podcast up today? I remember you telling me that you were interested in a makeup line. I remember you saying that God called you to move. Why aren't we moving here? And you don't take that as a personal threat. Oh, she hating on me. Oh, she judging me. No, you need friends that challenge you to be better. Not friends that just tell you, oh, on a weekend, let's get drunk until we can't even see no more. No. What? Playtime been over. And I'm not saying that you can't have a good time, but we have to be able, once you get to a certain place within maturity, within womanhood, you realize that the responsibility that you have over your life, you can't keep afford to making bad decisions on purpose. Yes, we're going to make mistakes. Yes, we're going to fall. God knows that. But you can't keep affording to, you can't keep affording to keep having bad friends in your circle. You can't keep affording to have wrong partners that you're choosing just because. What is he looking at? What? People are people. But you can't keep affording to be around the wrong individuals when you understand the importance of the purpose that God has over your life. Stop becoming desperate. Stop allowing desperation to make you feel as though there isn't more when there is. Stop allowing low standards to make you feel as though you have to sit in that relationship that you know is not moving you and not challenge you to become better, because you think that familiarity is growth and reality it isn't. If you look at your circle right now and all of y'all are doing the same thing, nobody's actively moving in purpose, but everybody is sharing the same sins. You need to change your circle. If you're in a relationship right now and that man is not challenging you to become a better woman, but he's just operating out of lust, he just like the way your body feels, he's just only sexual with you, he's intimidated by your growth, you need to leave. You need people that also encourage you to leave whenever you are not in relationships that is not strengthening a healthier version of yourself. And it's so vital, it's so important that women understand that. And I'll also touch on another thing as well, like when it comes to healing, is that we don't have to sit in these boxes. I know a lot of times, like growing up, I used to think that my femininity and me growing as a woman meant that I had to literally be in the box of who my mom wanted me to grow up to be. And I love my mom with everything in me, but I personally don't feel as though she had did what God had called her to do when it comes to her purpose. I don't know what her purpose is, but I feel as though she didn't really go after her dreams or pursue her dreams or her goals and aspirations of everything that she wanted to do. And it's unfortunate. But I can't let that stop me from becoming great. I can't keep myself in a box because you didn't do it, because I feel bad that you didn't do it. So now I got to suppress myself. That's not real growth. I can't be around friends. Oh, well, I feel as though I'm not, I'm like, even too, when it comes to, a lot of people think that they're healing or they're growing because you're just growing financially. But at the same time, you don't know how to process your emotions. You don't even remember the last time you cried. You don't even remember the last time you were able to feel in a safe space to be vulnerable with somebody and actually tell them how you feel and why you feel like the way you are without them using that as a weapon against you. You need safe places, but at the same time, safe places that make you feel as though you are safe to express, but at the same time, they challenge you to grow into becoming a better person. We can't stay stagnant because other people don't want to see us be vulnerable or other people don't want to see different versions of us. Your growth should not be, how do I put this in words to make it make sense? Your growth should not feel like a threat to someone else, to your homegirl. And I think like even too, like women, they got to get inspired again. Like, and even to a point where it's like if a woman inspires you, she doesn't like it. You understand that it does not take anything away from you. I can be inspired and say like, hey, I really think that you're beautiful. I really love what you push out. And I understand that that does not take away nothing from me. I'm no backhanded comments like, oh, what she thinks she doing? She thinks she all that. Nah, I see you, friend. I see you, beautiful. I see you, queen. You out here shining. You out here moving in alignment and purpose. I'm so proud of you, even if I don't know you. And a lot of women can't do that because they may not see that part in themselves. But you got to get to a point within healing where even if you may not be in that aspect of your life, you're still open to be receptive and let other women know, hey, you're great. And understanding that it takes nothing for you. But like I said, going back to the boxes, like, you have to get to the point to where you take yourself out of every boxes. Like there was so many boxes I placed myself in with trying to like literally move through womanhood. And some of that was trying to be the lemon drop aesthetic girly. I only wanted to show the beautiful scenes. But then it took away the part of me actually being expressive and vulnerable, with me being transparent, with me actually moving in purpose. Why can't you do both? I can show you how God took me from having absolutely nothing to transforming my life. How I was absolutely not moving in purpose to how I am now. People need to see that. At the same time, I don't have to fit in the boxes of like, even too, I love God so much. I don't have to fit in the same boxes of everybody else of, oh, Christian girl aesthetic. I'm not an aesthetic. I'm a real person. And I encourage any women watching this to understand that you're not an aesthetic. Even if you like aesthetics, there's nothing wrong with that. You're a real person. Allow yourself to be a real person. Allow yourself to stop fitting into everybody else's boxes, because other people's boxes may be too small for you. You may have outgrown that. And allow yourself to outgrow those boxes, because you were never meant to be fitted in there in the first place. And once you realize that your placement is not in someone else's box, but designed to who God has called you to be and who God has made you to be, there's so much power in that. That literally triumphs being in other people's boxes, being in other people's opinions, or just trying to fit yourself to be who everybody else wants you to be. There's so much more power than that. And I want any woman watching this to understand that. Healing is a priority. It's not a choice. And once you understand that it's a priority, it's not a choice, it changes your mindset. It changes how you move. It changes how you show up in the world, because you understand that it's a responsibility. It's a responsibility because I'm going to have kids one day that's going to say, hey, did mom have healthy habits of actually loving herself? What did mom do that showed that she actually loved herself? Or did she pour all of it into her kids, her relationship, or her friends? Did she love herself? Did she have hobbies? Did she move in purpose? Was she aligned? Did I see my mom taking risks? Or did I see my mom staying stagnant? Did I see my mom being around other friends who called her or friends who held her accountable? Did I see that? And even if you didn't see healing from your mom, even if you didn't see healing from your father, even if you did not see healing from your cousin, your sister, or anybody that you grew up around, that's not an excuse to stay small. That's not an excuse to really turn into who God has called you to be or mold you into. Like, one of the prayers I say all the time, I'm glad it came to my mind. One of the prayers that I say all the time is, God, mold me into the woman that you want me to be. Because the woman that you want to be may not be the woman that you need to be. Because a lot of times people stay small because of familiarity, because they're scared of change. And that feeling is normal, because change is different. It's different than your whole norm. But don't allow fear to cripple you. Use it as a stepping tool. You get what I'm saying? And I say, like, at the same time, like, I say this with everything in me. If you didn't see healing from your mom, if you didn't see the representation of the woman that you want to become, you become it. How do you become that? You start feeding yourself soul food. And I'm not just talking about catfish, collard greens, and fried chicken from your favorite soul food spot. No, you start listening to podcasts where men are talking healthy about women. Women are talking healthy about men. They're talking about their healthy marriages. You're listening to friends pour into other friends. They're telling the truth and they're being vulnerable, but at the same time, they're loving and expressing that. And you can feel that energy through the phone. Energy is real. You can't fake it. We can say that we're that girl, but people can feel it if you really believe that. Whether that's through social media or whether that's through real life, people can really feel if you really believe that you are who you say you are. Because guess what? Confidence is affectionate. It's like confidence. Well, did I use the right word? Confidence is like so strong. It's such a very strong feeling that you can feel when somebody's confident. You can feel when somebody's insecure. You can just feel it. So you can't fake it. It don't matter how many aesthetics and how many Chanel bags you post. We can tell if you really believe that you are the woman who you say you are, or if you're just capping or flogging. But the Bible said we shall know them by their fruit. So with that being said as well, we shall know and how you show up, how you pursue. Do you actually show up, or do you procrastinate too much? Do you have people that hold you accountable, or do you just have a whole bunch of people that just code you? Do you allow yourself to stay crippled because, I didn't see certain stuff, so I believe I can't become it? And that goes back to what I was saying as well. Like, even if you feel as though you grew up around people that didn't mimic the change that you would like to be in the world, become it. Like I said, you feed yourself soul food. You watch podcasts that are healthy. Stay off of the Zeus network. Baddies, shot o'clock. Baddies, bad. Baddies, this, baddies, that. Why do you want to watch women fight all the day? And women don't understand that a lot of these things keep you in the same loopholes and same cycles with relationships, with friendships, with your mind, because you think that that's normal, when in reality, that's dysfunction. You got to be able to have discernment as a woman to understand what's dysfunction rather than what's challenging me to grow as a woman. What's healthy and what's not. If you cannot decipher between the two of that, you will constantly fall in between a loop of bad decisions. But like I said, it even goes deep into like what you eat, developing better habits of what you're putting into your body. Are you getting enough water intake? Are you exercising? Or nah, this is the way my body gonna be. But you a little overweight. Nah, change that. You can always become better. Nevertheless, beyond that, I think soul food as well is also having healthy counsel with your community. Do you have homegirls that promote your bad decisions, or do you have homegirls that tell you, nah, friend, that ain't right? Do you have people that challenge you to grow? Do you have people around you that encourage you to constantly become a better version of yourself, or that literally bring out that side of you, that essence in you, to become a better woman? Or do you have people that just agree with everything that you say in all your bad decisions? It goes so deep. I'll take it even a step further. Soul food is just, it's even to when it comes to money, it can be dispersed in so many aspects of your life. What you put into your mind, what you say out your mouth, how you articulate your words, how you speak, and like I said, even too, with me, I'm realizing healing is so messy. It's never going to be perfect. One of the biggest things I'm working on now is learning how to just stop cursing all the time. Everything doesn't desire a curse word. And I think as women, that really makes us, I don't know, it's just not a good look. And beyond from it not being a good look, it's not a good expression, because it shows that you're not taking advantage of the uses of words. There's so many words that you can use rather than cuss words. There's so many words that you use over that. When you have a filthy mouth, And that's why I'm trying to become better with stop cursing all the time. Because when you have a filthy mouth, like, it shows that you're not taking a good advantage of the words that are out there. There's so many words that you can use. There's so many big words that you can learn. That's soul food. Teach yourself that, it just doesn't stop at dysfunction. And I just wish more women understood that. But yeah, soul food isn't just what's on your plate. It's what's in your mind. What are you feeding your soul? What are you feeding your mind, body, soul, and spirit every single day? What are you listening to? What type of music are you listening to? Do you listen to drill all day and then you're wondering why you're so hardened up? That's why. Do you listen to sexual music a lot and then you wonder why you're moving so lustful? That's why. It plays a role in it. Are you watching Baddies Network all day, or reality TV shows where it's nothing but drama? It's keeping you in a loophole to think that dysfunction is okay. And nobody's perfect, right? We've all fell short to it before. But don't stay there. Understand that there are shows out there that can actually help you become a better woman. There's podcasts out there that can actually help you financially grow. There's podcasts out there and videos and stuff like that where men are actually talking healthy about women. I know there's a lot of discourse around men talking bad about women, and women 50-50 this. Men are saying what they want to do for a woman, and women saying that they're better off without a man. There are conversations that are being had. They're just not being highlighted. There's conversations that's being had where men are talking healthy about women and women are talking healthy about men. And it's so important that women actually tune into those type of videos and those type, even if it feels, or if it comes off as corny because you're not used to seeing it. Force yourself to watch those type of things, like even too, you can even watch, you could be a digital disciple, as my friend would say. You can even watch sermons, anything to help you become better. Because a lot of times we are so tied up in dysfunction, we don't even realize it. Then you're listening to misogynistic music that talks about men and B words, and it's so unhealthy. We have to unlearn it if we want to become better. It's a necessity. But once healing is a priority, everything else starts to align. But like I said as well, if you didn't see healing from your family, become the representation of what you would like to see in the world. Like, I'm going to be honest. I feel as though, I'm going to be honest. My mom did not pour into me what I needed, the tools, the mindset, the skills to become the woman that I needed to be. You know how I had to learn that? I had to get on my knees and constantly pray, becoming in a place of vulnerability to where I'm constantly seeking myself through the Lord's eye. And eventually it started happening day by day. The layers started peeling off. I started unlearning unhealthy habits, and I started to become and develop into a better woman. I stopped placing myself in the projections in the boxes of others, because you may say, oh, you can't do that. That's not what God said. And if you are able to be in tune with your intuition, your discernment, and hearing God's voice, you will realize that, hey, nothing beats more over than hearing God's voice than rather than a person that may be telling you that you are not called to do that when the whole time God said, I called you. And you got to be able to discern the difference between the two, because a lot of times you can get lost in the sauce and miss your mark. And we think that we can't miss your mark. You absolutely can. If you keep ignoring the call. Don't ignore the call. Ignore the people. Ignore the people that's not good for you. I'll say that. But yeah, y'all. I ain't have nobody really telling me like, hey, this is how, like, I'll say this. My mom would tell me, okay, this is how women should dress modestly, right? But you could dress modestly and still have an evil spirit. So you're just covering up the funk. You're just covering up that demonic spirit that you hold. And I have so many questions that I feel like could not be answered from my mother because she did not instill that in me. But I didn't allow that to stop me. Imagine if I allowed, my mom didn't instill in me those traits and those special attributes to become a good woman. I would have still been stuck mentally, physically, emotionally. I would have been held captive. But once you understand that your parents are just vessels to get you here, but healing is your responsibility, you start developing better habits, because I can't be like the rest. I don't want to be like my mama. I don't want the relationship that my mother and my father has. I don't want any of that, because I'm my own human being. And I realize that what works for other people don't work for me. I don't want that relationship that you have. I don't want to be the woman that you are. And it's just the truth of the matter. I love my mother, but I don't want to be like my mom. God called me to be different. God calls me to expose dysfunction. God called me to literally move in my purpose. And I can't be moving my purpose, but sitting here like devaluing myself and watering myself down to the perception of me that you only want to see. That's not real growth. And I have to be who God has called me to be, regardless of who don't like it, even if it upsets my parents. What does that look like? Practicing healthy habits, constantly being in vulnerability to open my relationship with God, receiving. Because a lot of women have been so hearted up amongst life, they can't even allow themselves to receive because they have such a hyper independence mentality, or they seen mom do it all, or they didn't have a 2-parent household. So they didn't really see that balance between the household. But you can still become that. You can still become a good woman even if you did not see the representation from it in your household or growing up. You can still become a better woman even if your mom did not instill certain traits in you. It doesn't stop there. Oh, my mom was absent. She wasn't a good mom. You can still become a good mom when you have children. You have to unlearn every single thing that was toxic growing up and develop healthier habits. What does that look like? Like I said, pouring soul food into yourself, watching podcasts, networks, TV shows, whatever you have to do. Put yourself in another reality virtually to literally teach yourself, like, how are people with, how do people in healthy relationships talk? How do moms that are actually navigating healthy relationship with their children, what are they doing? What are the habits of that? Read your Bible, fast. Do whatever you have to do to become a better woman. Pray. Constantly be in prayer. That's the big one. Constantly be in prayer. God will reveal it all to you in due time. But that's all for this episode, you guys. I hope you guys were able to have some takeaways. I ended up actually not unraveling my hair at all. But as long as I could give you guys some soul food, I think that's the beauty of it all. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on my channel, you guys. I always try to give the transparency version of everything. And I feel like this is that. I love y'all.